And so, like I mentioned earlier, the works of Sheikh Anta Diop. Any African who still do not know their history, that's the best place to start. Pick up his books or read his works and watch videos by him so that you will know who you are. And if we don't know anything about ourselves at this point, I don't like to play the blame game, but we need to take responsibilities. We have so much resources out there. It does not take much to go on the internet. Not just any resources, but just find credible academia and study your own history. Because a lot of these things you won't learn in school. Your teachers are not going to sit there and teach you everything you need to know about your history. It's up to you to learn it. So I think it's about time that we stop playing the blame game and start playing the responsibility game. It's your responsibility to learn about yourself. You shouldn't wait for someone else to come teach you who you are. And if you are waiting at this time, then...
But the question is even this. For people who have risen from childhood to elementary school to high school to university level, do they need somebody to tell them that to travel all the way from another distant land to come and tell them that there's a God in their land? If say for example, if you are a child, they can tell you that God was born in Cambodia. And you can buy that. But if you've grown up to a university level, some of us even hold PhDs, do we need to rely on some information in the past that said that God was born in Cambodia?
I think my friend Mamsha mentioned earlier about a tree, that when it's in its early stages, you can manipulate it and you can do whatever you want to it. And those are the most crucial stages. So if you're able to get into that tree at that stage, and embed that belief in that tree, it's very hard to get it out of that tree once it has blossomed. So even if the person is at the PhD level and they know better, what you've been told over and over and over and over and over again is what you become.
Very difficult to take it out of your brain. Right. One of the individuals whom I looked up as a role model was the late Listerville Middleton. He used to have a TV show just as I am having. And he placed the African at the center of the universe in all kinds of endeavors. He's the one that I'm following. He wrote a book, but it's a poem in the book. The book is called Southern Winds, African Breezes. And the poem is about the origins of things. And this is one stanza that I use all the time, whether I'm in Africa or wherever I am. It starts like this: minute by minute, hour by hour. As you lose your history, you lose your power. So sharpen your eyes, tune your ear, so you know what you see and understand what you hear. So, for example, if they told you that this is the Sphinx, and you never knew that the African name is called Herm Eket, you will always rely on that name, Sphinx. So hearing and understanding is a very important thing as we grow up. Just because somebody said that doesn't mean that that's what it is. We got to be careful who we're listening to. So I am interested in seeing if you people can adopt a portion of this the origins of things, because it's going to be a learning tool for all your students. It's long. This is just one of the stances, and I will make it available to you. But my question is this. When they say the Word of God, do Africans know what they're talking about?
I don't.
Okay. The Word of God, the name of my show is Divine Speech.
Yes.
In African Traditionalism. Divine Speech is the Word of God. The Word of God is a writing called Medoneta, which is an African writing. The Medo, Neta. Neta means God. Medo means word. So, but you know about hieroglyphics. That is hearing and understanding. When you hear hieroglyphics, you think that this is African writing. But the Greeks came and changed our writing, the Medoneta, to be hieroglyphics. So now the well, even Africans ourselves, we know about the hieroglyphics. We don't know about the Medoneta. My question is this. How do we get back to retrieving our ancient writing? Not just history like, Anta Diop would teach us, but we have to learn how to go back and retrieve our writing.
I think we have to first identify that we have a cultural crisis.
Okay.
The minute we start to accept that we are moving towards a direction where we don't need to be going.
Okay.
We don't know much about who we are because we haven't invested the time, as much time as we spend assimilating into other people's cultures. We haven't spent that time finding out about our past. So if we accept that we will no longer take what we have been told and we challenge that, I think we will be more open-minded to learn more about what we used to be. And until we are able to retrieve those things that we lack, it's going to be very hard for us to progress. And this all goes into almost all African countries won their independence 50 years ago.
Right.
And we still considered developing countries on the continent. But we're still doing the same stuff that we were doing before. When we won our independence, some of our leaders did not take the time to retrieve certain things in our culture that were vital to our development. I think Ayite points this out in a lot of his works.
Right.
It's very important for us to retrieve certain things and mold that into who we are. We can't just forget about them and assimilate, because you can never assimilate to something that you are not. And the continent is very unique. So for us to just adapt to somebody's religion or someone's education or someone's views without questioning it in itself tells you something. And I think at this day and age, we should not use ignorance as an excuse anymore.
But we cannot also just move drastically out of the system that we're in now and just go and retrieve whatever we're talking about. We need to move in such a way that we can have this coming to our educational systems slowly so that our people can learn. For example, there are schools here in the United States, in the African American communities, that teach the Medoneta. There's even a Ghanaian in Senegal who can write the Medoneta. I've forgotten the name, it just skipped my mind right now. If we have all this already in place, Why can't we introduce it into our educational systems?
I think before we even get to the Madanata level, let's talk about our indigenous languages that we speak home, you know, our native tongue. When I was growing up in Ghana, you weren't supposed to speak your language in school. You know, Wangari Maathai faced the same issues. I think Ngugi wa Thiong'o addressed the same issues. Even our own language that we grow up with, when you go to school, you're not supposed to speak it. So most of us grow up not knowing how to write our own mother tongue or our own native language. And so we lose it. If you don't know how to write something or say it properly, you won't be able to teach your children. So you end up growing up with French or English. So before we even get to that level, we're also losing our language that we speak at home because we're trying to be educated. And we need to start questioning what education means if it's not investing in your identity and who you are.
We're almost running out of time. If my viewers want to contact you as the president of African Students Association at Lehman College, how do they do it?
You can go on our website, lehmanasa.org. We have a Facebook page, Lehman College ASA. You can like our page, and you can also email us at lehmancollegeasa@gmail.com. And we are always on Lehman campus, so you can find us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. African traditionalism is different. Different is not deficient. Different is not devilish. Different is not uncivilized. Different is not ungodly. Africans have used all kinds of ways to connect to their Creator from the beginning of time, and they will continue to do it. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. And for those of you who are my regular viewers, let's continue, because we have actually embarked on a journey on African traditionalism. May Amon Re bless you all. Take care.